ESPN's live coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series comes to you tonight from world-famous Daytona International Speedway. It's the Subway Jalapeno 250 about to get underway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. The Independence Weekend celebration of speed has some special guests tonight. Some 8 men and women who've served to defend our freedoms and been wounded or injured in the line of duty. Here, guests of a program called Infinite Heroes that supports our wounded warriors. We're very honored to celebrate Independence Weekend with them. We go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Daytona Beach Police Department Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Dr. Dwayne Mercer from First Baptist Church in Oviedo, Florida offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray together. Father, thank you so much for a wonderful opportunity that we have to be here tonight. Thank you, Lord, for giving us such a great day to race. God, I pray on behalf of every driver and every pit crew member that you would keep them safe tonight. I pray, God, that thanking you, Lord, for the fans that are here. I pray that as the drivers enjoy racing, we would enjoy watching them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
In honor of our troops, please place your right hand over your heart and welcome American Idol finalist and national recording artist Janelle Wheeler as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
Little last-minute discussion there with Boyer and Stewart about how they're going to handle this opening lap or so as we get ready to go in Daytona. Ricky Carmichael, a 5-time winner here on a motorcycle. He's got 4 wheels under him tonight. He starts the 30 car in 20th place. Danica Patrick with her 3rd Nationwide Series start at Daytona. Through all the speculation about whether she'll race in NASCAR full-time next year, she keeps learning the stock car game and lines up 7th. We'll have green flags, yellow flags, 1 checkered flag, and lots of red, white, and blue on Independence Weekend, all waving tonight at Daytona. The engines fire next.
Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona is brought to you by Subway. Subway keeps Carl Edwards running all day. Subway, the official training restaurant of Carl Edwards. And Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win one-of-a-kind NASCAR VIP experiences.
Looking down at Daytona International Speedway, and let's take a look at our Goodyear track facts. Of course, the banking here, 31 degrees, DJ.
Yeah, it is, but the thing that you don't see on this is this was repaved over the winter since last year. Even though we've had a lot of racing here in February, this racetrack still has a lot of grip and will allow this two-car tandem to work extremely well.
Let's get the final updates from pit road. Dr. Jerry Punch, you're up.
Thank you, Marty. You know, starting 14th is not a concern tonight for Kyle Busch because he won with his exact same car at Talladega back in April, starting 22nd. Now, but what does concern him is that his teammate who pushed him to that win at Talladega, Joey Logano, starts at the back of the pack because of having to fix a clutch here after qualifying. But he does have a young teammate, Brian Scott, nearby, and his crew chief told him, he said, having a fast car at Daytona is like being the prettiest girl at the prom. Everyone's always coming up to you wanting to dance. Dave.
Doc, Danica Patrick is back, and her crew chief says she needs to learn how to tango. Crew chief Tony Eury Jr. says that when she finished 14th here in February, she showed that she was fine at the front of a two-car tandem, but that she still needed to work on the switch. Don't lose the draft and reconnect without wrecking your partner. She's fast, starting 7th today. Shannon Spake?
Well, in just a few moments, Trevor Bayne will turn his first competitive laps here at Daytona since winning the Daytona 500 back in February. Bayne's plan here tonight is to hook up with his teammate, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., as quickly as possible. They turned every single lap in practice together yesterday, and they are committed to one another here tonight. Mike Massaro?
Before the weekend even began, Kevin Harvick's crew chief Chris Carrier told me that KHI worked extremely hard to make sure all 4 cars were equal. Not only were they equal, but they were dominant in qualifying, sweeping the top 4 positions. Leading the way was the team owner, Kevin Harvick. He's on the pole, looking to lead his squad to victory lane tonight, Marty.
The 4 horsemen is what they've been nicknamed, Mike, and they are coming down towards the start. The pace car will be pulling off, and we will be getting ready to go green flag racing. 35 lead changes in February, a record. How many will we see tonight? The dancing is about to begin. Race number 17 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series is green. The tapered spacer, it takes a little time to get up to speed, but just as we expected already, the pairing has begun. Right side of your screen, that's Kevin Harvick leading the way.
Yeah, it's really nice. These guys have their teammates all right there with them. You can see Trevor Bayne up there. He's got Danica Patrick on the bumper. Heard Dave Burns talk about this is where she needed to improve. Let's see if she can stay attached.
Well, what we're seeing right now is you're just kind of forced to run with who you're with, and we're going to see later some of these teams will start getting together, but you can't do that immediately. You have to run a few laps here, maybe with somebody that you weren't planning on being a partner with, but we'll see how it works out. Hey, you might even make a partnership right now that'll work later.
Kevin Harvick leads lap number 1. He's now led in his last 5 Nationwide Series starts in 2011.
Right there, looked like Jamie McMurray got a little bit free getting into 1 with the push from Carl Edwards. And they're struggling to get back together.
And look at what happens to them as they are getting freight trained.
You have to be connected. I mean, physically touching for this to work. And when you come apart like that, you can see just how much it costs you.
Yeah, with every inch that you get apart, it's probably about a mile an hour that it's going to slow you down. You can see how quickly that can affect things.
And you can see that Carl has made the switch. Now Jamie's going to do the pushing.
Yeah, it didn't work out too good with Carl pushing Jamie, so he'll try it this way.
Lap number 2, Kevin Harvick, still your leader. Stewart, Sadler, Boyer, and Bayne running in 5th.
Get back here a little bit, or you want to go up to that? Whatever you want to do, man.
Sound like Carl Edwards talking to Jamie to see which way they wanted to go.
The 4 horsemen side by side. And I think Tony had it right. It doesn't matter which car you pair up with, they're going to be all right for quite a while.
Yeah, they're busting some air for these 4, or actually for that 6 car. It looks like, who is that pushing? Ricky Stenhouse.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, looks like they've caught him pretty quick. These new paint schemes are throwing me a little bit. Can't tell who's who with these cars.
Coming back for lap number 3. I think we'll have a new leader. Yes, it'll be Tony Stewart this time. Behind Stenhouse and Kyle Busch, it's Trevor Bayne and Danica Patrick.
Amazing right here to watch these 4 Kevin Harvick cars, just how equally prepared they are, even in this type of situation.
Yeah, we heard, just as we got started, that Stenhouse and Bayne were going to run together. But like I said, they're kind of forced to run with who they started with. It's working pretty good with Kyle Busch pushing Stenhouse.
And Stenhouse looking to the middle. Kind of gets a separation there with Clint Boyer losing Tony Stewart now.
Tony has lost his drafting partner, and there's trouble for Clint Boyer. He has got an issue. pulling down onto pit road.
He's extremely slow.
I think it's flat. I don't know what it is.
Sounds like it's a tire issue of some sort. I don't know if he might have a loose wheel.
Well, it is.
It's something in the drive lane, I think.
Must have broken something.
Tires on it here.
Now remember, this is a backup car that they had to replace yesterday when they had an incident coming through turns 3 and 4. Racing continues on the right side.
I think something's breaking. It was a real bad vibration.
They get him back out. We'll wait to see what happens. So far, we can tell you Harmon in the 74, Jeff Green in the 44 have taken it behind the wall, and now the 68 of Carl Long has made the turn towards the garage.
See Brad Keselowski coming on the outside. Got a big push from Eric Almirola here trying to fight Kevin Harvick and Elliott Sadler for the lead.
It's
a little
hard
behind this. Sorry, Marty, but a little behind this. Tony Stewart obviously got left out, but he hooked up with Danica Patrick in there. Got the third group of cars right there.
This is a prom that makes for strange partners at times.
Now it looks like Trevor Bayne and the 6 car back together.
Dave, give us an update. What are you hearing down there?
Well, Marty, as soon as Danica, actually Tony found Danica, or Danica found Tony, not sure quite how that worked. Tony Eury Jr., her crew chief, radioed right to her and said, "You made a good choice. You'll learn a lot from him."
You saw the back bumper on Danica's car. A lot of them have literally put some grease on there to make that friction reduce.
Yeah, it's just because you can't stay exactly in line. If you go through these corners at this speed, you're going to have some offset, and you want those bumpers not to really stick, because that's what will turn you around.
You can see right there, the 7 and the 9 got away from each other a little bit, and that's where Danica has to learn that she has to drag the brake just a little bit to keep Tony's car attached to her rear bumper.
And you see it costs them a couple of spots as the Stenhouse pair goes on by. And that's Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne. They wanted to hook up, and they have. All of a sudden, Kyle Busch has got a lonely feeling. And, Doc, what are you hearing?
Well, Kyle was working with Ricky Stenhouse until the 16 of Bayne came up there, and Stenhouse said, "See ya, I'm going to go work with my teammate Trevor Bayne." And then Kyle had no one to work with, so he slid from 6th all the way back in the field now, and he's trying to wait for his teammate Joey Logano to get there. The good news, Logano started 40th, and it's all the way up now to 13th position, moving up toward Kyle.
You're right about that, as Logano is really clipping off some good laps right now. It is still Harvick, Sadler, Keselowski, Almirola, Stenhouse, Bayne, Patrick, and Stewart. Harvick gets credit for leading that lap. He's now led 7. Tony Stewart's led the other as we're working lap number 9.
You see that gap again right there with Danica and Tony. Yeah. And that's really her job to drag. Dale said drag that brake to keep that rear bumper attached to Tony's front bumper.
Yeah, this is really important. You have to do this with these cars, because if you don't do that, that rear car will shove you, and you'll get a little bit of a gap, and that's just slowing you down as you have to try to get reattached again.
There they go. You see that gap again. And every time that happens, you can see that other group of cars getting the run on them.
Yep, on the right side, on their right side. And there you see the 2 team cars from Joe Nemechek as he has hooked up with Kevin Conway, and they are moving towards the front now in the 87 and the 97. Stenhouse taking a look on the inside as he's going to go around the 22 of Brad Keselowski with Trevor Bayne pushing right along. So the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona, after just 9 laps, we've already had 3 different leaders and 3 lead changes. Let's check the motorsports calendar, because NASCAR Now, the Roundtable Edition, Monday at 6 Eastern on ESPN2. Our next Nationwide Series event, a week from tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern from Kentucky. over here on ESPN. Then the O'Reilly Auto Parts Route 66 NHRA Nationals, qualifying Saturday, July 9th at 9:30 Eastern. The final Sunday at 9 Eastern on July 10th. Both of those on ESPN2. As you can see, going to the front, could Danica Patrick lead for the second time at Daytona? Because Tony Stewart is giving her a push, and they have got a run on the race leader, the 4-car, Kevin Harvick. If they can hold it to the stripe, she'll become the 7th different leader. Let's get more on this pair from Dave Burns.
Well, Bruce Cook is a crew chief on that 9-car this weekend. Bruce, we know that they're more comfortable with Tony running in the back. Can he stay there all day if he needed to?
Yeah, I believe he can. He's worked it out yesterday drafting where he knows where to position his car on the back of everybody else's in order to cool his at the same time. So he can stay there as long as he wants. I think they just took the lead, so it's awesome to watch.
Great to see out there. They're going to pit about lap 33 for the first time and see if they can stay hooked together when they exit the pits.
You're both clear. Good job. When you get outside guys like that, you kind of got to drive away from and get away from the door a little bit. It pulls you and the 9 apart when you stay too close to him.
Copy. I just didn't think he was clear, and I needed to leave him an outside.
So the communication with Danica Patrick as she continues to absorb all this knowledge that's being thrown at her. We were talking about multitasking at 200.
Yeah, and she's doing a great job here. And I can tell you, she's got a smile on her face because she's leading this race. But the one with the bigger smile is Tony Stewart pushing her there because he's a big fan of Danica, knowing what she can do for our sport and the progress that she's made becoming a driver over here on the NASCAR circuit.
Well, and all the reports of Danica coming over to NASCAR full-time next year. And Tony was asked, would he like to have her as part of his team? And he said, of course, he would. But nothing has been official. And so right now, they're both doing very fine, leading this race with Elliott Sadler and Harvick 3rd and 4th. A little bit further back in the field, looking for Clint Boyer. He has now
trouble
working on. Oh, we got trouble. Turn 3. And that's Joey Logano with smoke off the right rear corner.
He'd gone down to the apron to make a pass on a slower car there. I think he got down slow. He didn't have an angle getting in the corner.
Sorry about that.
Our first caution of the evening is out here at Daytona on lap 27. And the 20 was running in 7th place at the time of this incident. And he's coming straight to pit road.
4 tires. Just have a look at the car here.
Looked like he was so low going into turn 3 that he maybe just didn't have the angle to make the turn.
That's exactly what happened. Here's what you were talking about, DJ.
Yeah, he kind of got caught. Oh, he kind of got turned there.
Well, they're kind of in the
just
quandary
going across
because they're down below the double line.
Yeah. Well, and the 52 of Jeremy Clements, obviously solo, so their closing rate, and again, Brian could not close on him. I should say Kevin LePage in the 52. On board the 31.
So that's part of the problem when we get in this position.
You got to spin behind you. Spin behind you. No caution yet. Caution's out. Get off of it. Caution's out. Caution's out.
When the caution comes out.
Stay low there. Stay low there. Good job, there.
Just another product of this racing. Brian Scott had no idea that Joey Logano might have to slow down and check up just a little bit and got into the back of him there. So now with Logano hitting early, he's going to have to go to the back once again.
Robert Richardson is going to get the free pass, and he'll get back on the lead lap. That'll give us 32 cars. Clint Boyer is still a lap down. He is shown in 34th position. Pits are open, and I think we'll see just about everybody taking advantage of this. Get the chance to check tires, top off with Sunoco fuel, and we'll go again. So far, we've had 7 leaders and 11 lead changes in the 26 laps that we have completed. Kevin Harvick's led the most laps with 10. Danica Patrick, who leads them down, has now led a total of 4 laps. Let's send it down to pit road. Dave Burns.
And Marty, Tony Stewart said he's very comfortable with this car. You see that black 9 car, that's Stewart. 4 tires, no changes, full of fuel. Just in front of him, Danica Patrick. She'll also take 4. You heard her confirming that on the radio. Shannon.
And last week, race winner Reed Sorensen, he will also take 4 tires, says the car is very comfortable. They're also going to pack it full of Sunoco fuel. Mike?
There was some conversation between Elliott Sadler and Ernie Cope about maybe doing fuel only. Instead, they'll do just left side tires on the 2 car. His teammate, Kevin Harvick, also doing the same. Left sides only, his car neutral.
They will pick up the lead as they come off the race off pit road. So it's Sadler, Harvick, Almirola, Patrick, Scott, and Stewart. And you can see that Almirola, the big winner there. But again, you're still going to have your dance partner if you want to stay up front. Under our first caution here at the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona International Speedway at Daytona Beach, Florida. And as the sun sets, we were talking to some of the fans about how they felt about the 2-car draft that has now come into play at Talladega and here at Daytona.
2-car draft, that can be good.
It's not necessarily a bad thing because, I mean, you get guys together both on the same team and opposing teams.
This is the future, and they're moving up. They're going faster times, and if they got a 2-car draft, that's the way to go.
The drafting thing, I think they need to go back to the old style.
This is what racing is all about. You find the right partner, you go to the front. That's not what we're all about.
Essentially, what you've got now is it's only really exciting at the end of the race. And I think it's taken away just a little bit, but it's still a great event. Love coming here. It's the best in the world.
Some love it, some don't. What do you guys think?
Well, it's the same. You're going to get that reaction about the other style of drafting too. So everybody's got opinions. Yeah.
It's here to stay, and I like it. There's a lot of elements about it that's very interesting, and I did like the old pack racing too. It was exciting, but this is what we have.
All right, Clint Boyer is 1 lap down in 34th position. Let's get an update, Mike Massaro.
They had talked about maybe taking the wave around, decided not to do that. They feel like they've got a good enough race car to get the lucky dog eventually. That vibration they reported in, which eventually put them where they are right now, they determined to be a loose left rear tire. Nothing in the drivetrain. Doc?
Let me show you the right front tire that came off Joey Logano a moment ago when the yellow came out. Now, he came in and took this tire off. You see this area on the inside shoulder here where all the rubber's been rubbed away? The crew got very antsy and said, what's got to be rubbing on our car? Then they realized probably what happened was when he turned this car tire to the inside like that, it probably rubbed against a shock absorber and rubbed the inside shoulder raw. Now, that's what they hope happened as opposed to having something rubbing on the car right now. But they're going to keep a close eye on the 20 the next few laps. Guys?
Yeah, Doc, we saw the same thing happen with, I think it was Justin Allgaier's car. When he spun, he turns the wheel so far trying to correct it that it does get into some of the suspension parts. And I'll bet that's what happened here.
Another use for petroleum jelly. Put it on your front bumper. Helps with the 2-car tango.
It just cuts down on that friction as they rub these front and rear bumpers as they try to make this drafting technique work.
You can see Joey currently 31st, and he is on the lead lap. Right now we have 33 cars on the lead lap. Derek Cope took the wave around. He was the only one. Boyer is in the lucky dog position in 34th. Let's reset it. Elliott Sadler, Kevin Harvick, 1st and 2nd. Then Aric Almirola, Danica Patrick, Brian Scott, Tony Stewart in 6th, Sorensen 7th, Keselowski 8th, Allgaier 9th, and Edwards 10th. That is the top 10. Pace car is off. Green flag coming, and we're back to racing here at Daytona. Quickly, the 2 and 4, Sadler and Harvick hook up.
One thing I see right here is Aric Almirola's kind of hung out without a partner. Looks like he's going to get Keselowski, but his teammate, Danica, is right up there with him this time. I thought maybe they would get together, but it's been working so well with Tony, I guess you decided to stick with him.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Scott's there without a partner right at this moment.
And look at Kyle Busch on the outside of Danica. And he's got Jason Leffler pushing him, so all of a sudden they come to life and make their way forward. You see the 66 of Stephen Wallace. He's a sitting duck. Here comes Nemechek and Conway underneath. This is 3 wide, or is it 6 wide? Oh, this is when things can really get dicey. And look at smoke pushing the 7 of Danica Patrick.
Perfect example right there. Just what it means to have 2 cars hooked up. How fast they went by that other group of cars.
We'll draft back up there.
Meanwhile, Sadler and Harvick sort of checked out on these guys.
It looks like I'm sorry, Marty, but it looks like that old style of drafting, that big pack racing. And then when you saw two cars get really latched up, you can see how much difference it makes.
The 66 waiting for Michael Annette in the 62. The teammate's going to try and hook back together, see if they can go back towards the front.
See Mike and Kenny Wallace there in the middle of that trying to get hooked up and work together.
Man, this is crazy.
This is the part of the race where you dance with anyone you can find, really.
Well, you know that you have to have someone or you're going to be in trouble. You see these cars go by you so fast, you have to find someone quickly.
Kevin Harvick has led the most consecutive laps of the 7 leaders, and that is 5. And Sadler out front right now. So let's get an update as we go back a little farther in the field. 10th and 11th place. Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray. Shannon, what are you hearing?
Well, Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray, they've been quiet so far this race, but really it has been by design. These two started this race and they were committed to each other. However, they were not able to practice with each other because Jamie only did qualifying laps in practice. So you saw at the start of the race, it did take them a little bit of time to get hooked up. But they are there, and Carl Edwards said today, you have to be there at the end. And being there at the end, you have to be patient. A little bit of foreshadowing, I think, guys.
And they're trying to close on the Wallace brothers. Mike in front of Kenny. You're on board with Mike, and well, they had to break apart. And watch what happens. Bye-bye. Look out, trouble. The 30 of Ricky Carmichael, his dream of winning in 4 wheels. Also the 07 spinning around of Danny Eflin. Our second caution is out. The 5-time winner here at Daytona in Supercross. His goal is to be the first to win on 2 and 4 wheels, but that is going to have to wait. Eflin able to keep it off the wall, and he's back underway. Carmichael with a ton of damage on the left and back, and he was 20th at the time of this incident. Let's go back and see what happened.
Timmy Hill
on his back bumper, but he's on that right side pretty hard.
It looks like he lost the left rear tire.
Yeah.
Must have had some contact with another car earlier and cut that left rear tire down. As you can see, the tread rubber coming off of it. So watch right here. That's where it comes loose.
And notice the 13 in front of the 33 there. Jennifer Jo Cobb ahead of Clint Boyer. She gets the lucky dog and gets back on the lead lap. And there is what's left of the 30. So looks like Turner Motorsports could be down to 3 bullets.
Well, that's what happens. You know, we saw a lot of craziness going on with all those cars 3 and 4 wide, and they're all pushing each other. There's bound to be contact, and when you do that, I mean, these sidewalls are real fragile. It's just not, doesn't take much to cut that left rear down.
We can tell you Carmichael has made it to pit road. And he is making the turn and heading straight for the garage. So that means with Charles Lewandowski now off track, Long, Jeff Green are out of this race. Harmon is also listed as off. We'll just keep an eye on pit road. I don't see anybody loaded as if they're going to be coming in. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we had our first caution. But we'll wait and see. The last pit stop for everybody up front was lap 27, and we're working lap number 35 right now. And it looks like of the front group, no takers so far. About 9th place, maybe Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray, the first two that make the commitment to pit road. We're going to take a break here and see what happened one more time to the 30 of Ricky Carmichael and 07 Danny Eflin. We have all of the NHRA Full Throttle races on ESPN2, and we'll cover the 10-race chase and the season finale for IndyCar out in Las Vegas in October. Let's talk to our in-race reporter, Tony Stewart.
Hey, Smoke DJ, you have a copy?
You're DJ, though.
How about go ahead? All right, man. Well, it looks like you lost your original partner, but you've picked up a pretty good one there in Miss Danica, and looks like she's catching on to this pretty good. Y'all pretty fast.
Yeah, she's doing a good job. She's really smooth. I mean, that's part of the key of being good at this is being smooth where the guy behind you can stay with you. She's doing a really good job of you know, when we have to change lanes, she's making sure that I get clear, and you know, when she has to check up, that's probably the hardest part, and she's doing a real good job of letting me know, you know, easing in the brake pedal that she's caught him enough that she has to slow down. So we're working good with each other so far.
Hey, Tony, we've wondered a lot about, was this racetrack going to lose any grip? Still plenty of grip there to make this two-car draft work?
The grip in this track is still just as good as it was in February, I believe. It's, you know, we had a lot of heat today, but with this night race, I mean, and the cool temperatures and the rain that we had yesterday, the surface is cooler than it typically would be for a July race here. So I think we're getting the benefit of that.
Hey, we're noticing you're able to stay behind there a long time without making a switch there. You've got this pretty much perfected, getting enough air to your car, right?
Well, it's the guys at KHI did an awesome job of knowing that the longer we can stay with each other, the better off we're going to be. So, you know, like I said, she's doing a good job of holding the line to where I can move out and try to get air, you know, in the grill of my car to help us out. So, gotta push good, but at the same time, you gotta hunt air. So, kind of got a double mission back here pushing.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for talking with us. Have fun.
Thank you.
You heard him talking about that offset as far as the drafting. Let's go to Craftsman Tech Garage. Get more with Tim Brewer.
Smarty, you know, one of the fastest things in town is just tape on the nose of a race car. But NASCAR mandated that you have an opening right here. But when you're taped up solid, car's going to run fast. But this 3-inch by 20-inch open, that's mandated. But like Andy said earlier, you have to move the nose of the car out to breathe it, to keep sufficient airflow through the radiator to keep the water cool. Guys?
All right, thank you, Tim. Let's update you. The 60 of Edwards, the 1 of McMurray, the only 2 in the top 20 to pit, but also pitting with the 88 of Almirola, the 22 of Keselowski, the 6 of Stenhouse, and the 16 of Trevor Bayne. Let's reset the front as we've got Elliott Sadler up front, then Kevin Harvick alongside, then Danica Patrick, Tony Stewart, and in 5th and 6th it is Justin Allgaier and Reed Sorensen. Pace car. Looks like it's getting ready to pull off.
Yeah, you pay attention again. Elliott Sadler's the leader, but watch how he has to wait till he gets across the start-finish line to pull down in front of his teammate Kevin Harvick.
2 red here. 2 red, 2 red, 2 red, 2 red.
We go back to green flag racing. The 22 of Brad Keselowski is headed down pit road. There's a problem with the 22. We'll get more on that as soon as we can. Dave?
Marty, he pitted under the caution just to simply top off with fuel. Then he radioed during the caution, I think I've got a right front flat. They'll change to right sides.
And he's going to be stranded out there all alone as we are flying down the backstretch right now with Sadler and Harvick out front. First time that Sadler has led here at Daytona since he led 30 laps back in 1997. He's led 12, trying to make it 13. But here comes the 31 of Justin Allgaier, along with the help of Kyle Busch. And remember about that race within the race. The Nationwide Dash for Cash, Sadler and Allgaier are 2 of the guys that are eligible.
Danica Patrick and Tony Stewart up on the high side.
They're going to the high side also, the 31. And now Patrick ducks down low with Tony right behind.
This is a strong 2-car draft right here. These 2 cars work real well together. Look at that's a great move by Danica. Left Tony just enough room.
Hey, she's learned enough here, and Tony's good enough that he could push her to win this race tonight. That's not a stretch. She's doing a really good job. You can see the move she made to the inside to get themselves cleared there and then back to the high side.
On board with Tony Stewart as they head down towards the stripe. Leading that lap is Danica Patrick, so our 13th lead change, as there is Allgaier in the 31 with the help of Kyle Busch coming strong. Okay, what we've just been told from NASCAR. On the restart, the 09 has a penalty coming. Kenny Wallace changed lanes before the start-finish line. Let's go back and take a look.
It's just like Dale was talking about. You can't change lanes until after the start-finish line. I know these guys are very tempted to try to move down and get with their partners, but, you know, they know not to do this. And I guess it's just one of those things you just kind of forget in the heat of the battle.
He was running in 10th, and now He is going to have to do the pass-through penalty, and it is going to be oh so costly for Kenny Wallace.
Well, he's got enough time to make it up if he can get back out there and get the lucky dog.
Meanwhile, there is the 8 cars that are running up front. Danica Patrick and Tony Stewart. Behind them, Allgaier, Kyle Busch, Sorensen and Leffler, Sadler and Harvick. Can you believe how many of the guys that are in the dash for cash are right up front here? Doc, what do you got?
There was a partner swap during the caution flag, Marty. You know, Justin Allgaier had been drafting with teammate Reed Sorensen, and Sorensen said, you know what, my deal is to go back and draft with the 38 of Leffler, so you got to find somebody. So who picked up with Allgaier? The 18 of Kyle Busch said, I'll go with you, buddy. You pull down, I'll follow you, and we'll push each other. Worked out really well so far for Justin Allgaier.
It's like a net gain for Allgaier.
There you see that pack as they are opening up some ground on the group behind them.
Clint Boyer is now running that lucky dog position now to get his lap back.
I guess it's not working too bad for Leffler and Sorensen as they go to the front now either.
Danica Patrick, of course, now has led a total of 7 laps, although it looks like she's going to lose the lead here. But here they come back. She talked about leading at Daytona back in February.
It gives me confidence that if I find the right person to work with out there, that I can go to the front. It also gives me confidence that the team has prepared a good car and that it's fast. And it was fast in qualifying and it was fast in the race. So now it's just a matter of finding someone to work with and going to the front.
Well, she's led more tonight than she has in her 18 previous starts combined, although she's not leading right now. But here they come again, because Sorensen had to make the switch here at the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona. And look out, the 14 of Eric McClure has tagged the wall and is skating across the infield. That is down in the turn 1 area. And
big
our
break for Boyer.
Third caution comes out, and Clint Boyer will finally get the lucky dog. So the 33 will get back on the lead lap. The 14 of McClure was 23rd at the time of this deal. That's Mike Bliss pushing him.
Oh man. That was a hard lick right there.
Yeah, misjudged just a little bit. It only takes that little bit to create a bad accident.
A lot of damage, and the window net is not down on Eric's car. So let's just stay here and hope that he is A-OK. Now, I see him reaching for it now. That's good news. That's good.
That's a hard angle there.
He's fine, Mike. I couldn't hear what you're saying, but he's fine.
Yeah, nothing deliberate there by any stretch of the imagination.
No, at 190 miles an hour, trying to make that calculation and know exactly where your front end is, it can be difficult, but it only takes those few inches to create a situation just like that.
Safety crew still working, and you can see that NASCAR has checked everything on the timing loops. Danica Patrick is shown as the race leader, with Tony Stewart in second. And she has now led a total of 8 laps tonight.
It's been 17 laps since they pitted. They may take this opportunity to come down and get some gas anyway.
We have 56 to go. Obviously, no one could make it the rest of the way on this stop. See some of the crews already up on the wall getting ready. 2 of the KHI teams. Several others.
Saw the KHI, a couple of them take left sides on that first pit stop. That's kind of strange. You don't see that very often, especially on the first pit stop. It was Kevin Harvick and Elliott Sadler.
Well, behind Patrick and Stewart, Joe Nemechek and Kevin Conway are shown in 3rd and 4th position. And that's where we're going to start with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Joe Nemechek coming down pit road, and Joe, after having that great run at Talladega, hoping for another top 5, his only top 5 of the year came at Talladega. They will come in, take a tear off, fuel only, make sure the grill is clean, wait on the fuel. They can't make it on one more stop, and still got to get full. Dave.
Second place, Tony Stewart will take 2 right side tires while they top it off with fuel. Danica Patrick, the leader, is away with fuel only. Stewart Stahl, Shannon.
Well, your points leader, Reed Sorensen, was going to go with no tires, but ran over something, so it was left sides only in fuel for the 32. Guys?
And you can see the top 5 cars did not take tires. Leffler picks up 3, wins the race off. Kyle Busch right there. Danica drops 2. More importantly, she's lost Tony Stewart. He dropped 6, taking 2 tires on that stop. Several cars stayed out, including the 60, the 1, the 66, and the 62. And there's Eric McClure. He's in good shape heading to the ambulance, and that's a good sign.
Independence Weekend at Daytona International Speedway. The 4th of July parade has been rained on for some, not literally, but figuratively. Joey Logano got turned around earlier in the race. Ricky Carmichael had a tire go down, and he found the turn 2 wall. While the fans have been on their feet watching some great racing up front, including Danica Patrick leading a lot of laps. The hardest hit of the night right there for Eric McClure that has us under this 3rd caution flag of the race, just shy of the halfway point of tonight's Subway Jalapeno 250. Reminder that ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues on Sunday and Tuesday night. First on Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern, it's the Dodgers and the Angels in a Southern California rivalry. Then it's an NL Central battle Tuesday night at 7 Eastern as the Reds take on the Cardinals. It's Major League Baseball, ESPN, Sunday and Tuesday. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com. And from the ESPN pit studio, as we get ready to restart, we're seeing second pit stop under this caution for Kevin Harvick. Michael?
And Kevin Harvick coming down for a chassis adjustment. Also, fuel. The plan here to fuel up, then drop back and pick up Clint Bowyer as a drafting partner.
All right, Mike, thank Clint Bowyer getting the free pass at this caution. Remember, Bowyer had a problem on just the 4th lap of the race and went a lap down. He's back on the lead lap. Harvick dropping back to pick him up. Strategy under the caution, Rusty. New leaders.
Yeah, new leaders. You see Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray up now. These guys are not teammates. They're in a Ford and a Chevrolet brand, 2 different brands of cars, but they like each other and they're hooked up. We've been monitoring these guys. They trust each other a lot. But they got about 6 laps less fuel than the rest of the competitors. That's a question mark right there.
They've hung around at the back of the pack a lot of this race. Now they find themselves 1st and 2nd through strategy. This caution, a break for Clint Bowyer, also a break for Brad Keselowski. In that 22 Dodge, the white and black car weaving on the inside lane on the right of your screen. Remember, he had the right front tire down just as we went restarting from the last caution. He managed to stay on the lead lap by just getting 2 tires. The yellow allowing him to catch up, not pitting allowing him to get up toward the front. And updating the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash. The running positions currently after the pit stops of the top 4 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. Remember that tonight the highest finishing of those 4 drivers gets $100,000 from Nationwide Insurance. That driver who wins the cash, and the other 3 highest finishing championship eligible drivers gets to race for the $100,000 at the Iowa Speedway in early August.
That's a lot of money. These guys are thinking about that. They're constantly getting reminded about where they're at in that hunt right now for that $100,000, Alan.
Time for the restart. Remember, you can't change lanes until you've crossed the start-finish line. Kenny Wallace got penalized for that on the last yellow. Let's watch this one.
13 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. Looks like she has blown up as she is smoking down the front straightaway. They are still green on the racetrack as she is pulled to the apron. She's got damage to the front end as well. Keep eyes on it, but the caution is now coming out. So it'll be everyone getting out of the throttle, and we'll start it all over again.
I saw those cars stacking up back there. Yeah, she does that.
Turn to the cutoff. Turn down to the inside of the cutoff when you get up here. Off of 2.
Could have busted the.
Tell me to stop. They want you to stop.
Almost a lot of smoke.
Let's look at the top of the screen on the replay.
See these cars stack up about 12 rows back.
Yeah, you can see that whole accordion effect.
Oh, yeah, right there. She was 27th at the time, and as you can see, the smoke was pouring out of that car, and She hasn't made it back, so they'll have to get the hook out and pull her in. So another tough night for Jennifer Jo Cobb. She got the lucky dog at one point. And as we said, she was in 27th position on the lead lap. She's out of it now here at the Subway Jalapeno 250. And we hope you're enjoying your Independence Day weekend as we are under the lights here at Daytona International Speedway. Our fourth caution of the night for Jennifer Jo Cobb as she had damage to the front end, and there is a lengthy cleanup as she dropped fluid all the way down the front straightaway. Jennifer's best finish here in the trucks back in February. She finished 6th, but tonight not so fortunate for her. Now let's go back and want to update you on Eric McClure's situation. This was an extremely hard lick as the 19 just touches him in the wrong spot, sends him into the wall. We saw him walk to the ambulance, but doctors at the Infield Care Center have decided to send him over to Halifax Medical Center as a precautionary move for a little further evaluation. And there you see him as he did make his way to the ambulance. We'll get an update if we can before we sign off tonight. Looking on pit road, see if anybody is a taker now. And it doesn't look like anybody up front took the call. A couple farther back, and we'll get you updated when we come back. Back here at Daytona International Speedway, you can see that now that Clint Boyer's back on the lead lap, Kevin Harvick fell back. They end up taking another pit stop, top off the fuel, and they will be teaming up when we go back to green flag racing here in our fourth caution period. Time enough for us to give you the motorsports calendar, and NASCAR now will be Monday night, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And our next stop on the Nationwide Series is next Friday at Kentucky here on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Drag racing fans, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Route 66 NHRA Nationals, Saturday, July 9th at 9:30 Eastern, and the final Sunday, July 10th at 9 Eastern, both of those on ESPN2. All right, so as the lights are out on the pace car as they head down the backstretch, we'll be getting ready to go back to green flag racing with Edwards, McMurray, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Steve Wallace, Michael Annett, your top 6. Then Jason Leffler, Danica Patrick, Justin Allgaier, and Eric Almirola. Let's get an update on that 88 of Eric Almirola. How about it, Dave?
Marty, he's worked with the 22 car successfully, but was told over the radio, you might want to work with your teammate. Listen.
Yeah, definitely. If we can push that 7, it would definitely be a lot better. Stewart said she did a great job maneuvering and coming back to him, so all good there. He wanted to let you know it was all good. She's quick. 10-4. All my practicing and my pointers. That's right.
Teammates talking together and learning. Let's see how they can do in this huge draft,
and
Marty.
You can see right behind Almirola is the 9 of Stewart, and right behind him, the 2 of Elliott Sadler. That's why Danica has got to find a new partner, because Tony is going to pair up with Sadler. And we're back to green flag racing here at Daytona.
Second and third, that's an odd couple.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's almost like having Carl and Kyle running together. It's Brad Keselowski being pushed by Kyle Busch, and it's not into the wall.
Actually, third and fourth. Getting ready to be first and second, though. They got a pretty good run going.
Look on the right side of your screen. Eric Almirola is pushing the 7 of Danica Patrick. Underneath them, you have Stephen Wallace pushing Michael Annett. And now, coming right up the middle, is there going to be enough room? Here come the 2 Turner Motorsports cars. They think better of it. Carl Edwards leads that lap.
Look how quick Harvick and Boyer made their way to the front.
Yeah, I saw Harvick just kind of coming through the middle there. Boyer had a hard time keeping up with him for a minute, but has got reattached to his bumper. You can see up in the top 10 or 12 already.
Down the back straightaway. There is your top 6. Danica Patrick still doing a good job.
I'll tell you, Danica's got a good car tonight, and I think it's, that's why doesn't matter really who she's running with.
She qualified 7th, yeah. She's got some good speed in that car. Coming across the stripe again, Carl Edwards will continue to lead. But nobody's been able to really pull away here on this particular restart. Whoa, getting way high up there.
Yeah, that's
Look out. The 4 of Harvick. He's got to gain control.
Wow. Hold on to her. Hold on to her. You're good. Come on back up. Come up high. Come up high. Back up.
Nice.
Back up to 33. Back up. Back up. Clint, you got it.
What a great save by Kevin Harvick. And you can see that the other 2 teammates were right there. That could have been the end of the 4 horsemen.
Yeah, Delana was looking at bringing 4 cars down here. Wasn't so good of an idea.
Ride him, cowboy. Man. All right, let's go back and take another look at this and show you just how close this was to disaster.
They just have so much speed because Boyer just pushed him so fast. And there's only so much room up there. What a great save by Kevin Harvick.
Misses the 88 of Almirola, and let's go on board and see what it looks like from here. Tony Stewart's view.
5 to the front, stay on the bottom. Got a spin here, maybe? Come on, stay on the bottom. 4 clicks. Dan be the driver.
I'll agree with you, Bob. Yeah, Bob had already had him spinning out. That's incredible.
Hold on to her. Hold on to her. You're good. Come on back up. Come up high. Come up high. Back up. Back up.
All right, let's go back out on the track because it's getting interesting up front. It looks like Danica Patrick with Eric Almirola is going to try and retake the lead.
I tell you, it's very impressive how much she's learned since the beginning of this race, 57 laps ago. Being able to keep that car attached to her bumper and make the most speed here, Andy.
I think she can really thank Tony Stewart. Tony was very patient with her, and I'm sure he probably on the radio helping her, and she has learned a ton.
Edwards and Jamie McMurray taking another run down low behind them. Oh, you see the sparks flying from the 38 of Leffler. He got too low.
Yeah, you got that splitter down there below that yellow line where the apron comes up there to actually meet where the racing surface starts.
Allgaier did a good job of getting off of him. They're going to lose several spots, but at least they're still in one piece. Up front at the stripe, the official leader, Danica Patrick.
Well, Harvick got his confidence back here, and here he comes back again. He probably didn't lose any confidence, but he kind of got his nerve back up, is what I meant to say.
Well, you see that little piece of the skirt when he made that move down to the apron, it probably hit the left side pretty hard. No real, trouble with that. I mean, if it's just a side skirt, I don't think he's got any problem.
The only problem that could come is if that starts pulling other rivets out and gets back, then NASCAR would have to take a look at that, but no problem with that right now.
Out in front, Danica Patrick, Eric Almirola. There's the 60 of Carl Edwards alongside the 22 of Brad Keselowski. And look at this log jam at the front. 17 lead changes between 9 different drivers. And we have 41 laps to go here at Daytona.
Now, this is closer and more intense racing than we've seen since we've seen this 2-car draft evolve. As more people have learned more about it and made these cars better, the drivers better at it, we get bigger groups.
Come on with runs there, both sides there. You're both clear.
Kyle Busch making the swap. He goes in front of the 22.
What's too hot? Too hot, beat 270. So just keep it out there, poke that on the right side. She's the mayor.
Danica Patrick continues to lead. She has led a total of 11 laps now here at the Jalapeno Subway 250 at Daytona. The action fast and furious, and here comes Edwards again. 24 laps to go. There's your top 6 cars here at the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona International Speedway. Up front, it's Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray, Tony Stewart and Elliott Sadler, and Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick. So the 4 KHI cars doing very well. And there you see the 2 Roush Fenway machines getting back into the mix as well. And let's listen to the teammates as now it's Trevor Bayne up front.
You want to switch, Trevor?
Yeah, let's swap him 1 and 2 next lap so I can have this thing cool down for our last push. I think I need to be pushing at the end, and then he can push me for a little bit while we're broken away from everybody else.
And you saw right behind them that Kyle Busch has finally hooked up with his teammate, Joey Logano, as they are trying to make their way to the front. And they've got a little separation right now, as you can see, this gap at the 18 and the 20. Let's go back up front. Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray. They've got their hands full with Tony Stewart. Shannon, what are you hearing?
Well, Marty, we talked about the beginning of the race when Carl Edwards said he was going to work with Jamie McMurray. But Carl Edwards' plan also included hanging back in the back of the pack. So much so that about halfway point of the race, these two guys were going to split up. Jamie McMurray was going to go to the front and Carl was going to hang in the back, go with the 88. But as you can see, they're just so fast together, working so well together, and they are on the same pit sequence that they're just up front and flying right now.
That pit sequence is coming up for that 1 to 60.
The laps are starting to wind down. We have 22 remaining here at Daytona. There's your top 8 cars. The 62 and the 66. Annette and Stephen Wallace are making a green flag pit stop as they are coming in. And they are a good half a pit length away from each other. And there's the 66 on the right side. And it looks like they only took right side tires on the 62. He's already out. And the 66 will get out right behind him. There they go. Will there be more green flag pit stops here at the Subway Jalapeno 250? We'll find out when we come back. We are under our 5th caution here at Daytona International Speedway, and Clint Boyer has had hard contact with the wall. He was running in 3rd when everything went in the wrong direction. Here's what happened.
Had Harvick pushing him hard, looking like they were going to get maybe by these two for the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Clint was having to bite. Kevin almost was lifting the back end of the car off ground. Clint has to steer to the right here some as they run up on Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray. You can see it turns Clint to the right, and then Kevin hooks him in that right rear just a little bit.
So the chances of the 4 horsemen sweeping the top 4 spots like they did in qualifying is over.
Feel good. Go to the high side here. Caution down, caution down.
Well, I tell you, we saw it yesterday with Michael Annett and Stephen Wallace, although they did not have this much damage. You get on the wrong side of that bumper.
Yeah, and it just it lifted up, and literally Clint was just being steered to the right, and then Kevin just thought he could keep pushing, and as he did, it just turned him. This situation, in Clint Boyer's situation, you can't get out.
No, you can't get mad. That's the boss.
Well, and
no, it's not on purpose.
We
You see the one car. You see the one car on the apron right here. He might be a little bit low on fuel because he was due to make a pit stop.
Yeah, McMurray last stopped on lap 35, as did Carl Edwards, and we have completed lap number 80 right now. So, and this final caution here means everybody will be able to come in and go the distance. So here's the money stop. Dave, it's all yours.
Tony Stewart will give up 4th position, Marty. They'll fill it full. Well, they'll top it off anyway. They'll give it as much fuel as it needs to get to the end. No tires will be changed on the Stewart car. Shannon?
Carl Edwards in the middle in the 60. Jamie McMurray down low. These guys are on the same pit sweep sequence, and they are going to do the same thing. It's going to be right side tires and 1 can of fuel for these guys to make it to the end, and they're going to try to get off pit road at the same time. Mike?
The 4 team of Kevin Harvick carefully inspecting the front bumper. Chris Carrier giving them the command to let him go after 3 gallons of fuel. He's away.
And you can see that Harvick, Sadler picked up a couple of spots, 3 for Sadler. Edwards dropped 4. And we're going to go to commercial break, and you'll get the view from Tony Stewart as he gets through our 5th caution when Boyer hits the wall. During the commercial break, this was the pit stop for Mike Wallace. Let's listen in. Rick Yeomans.
Cowboys Aliens Chevy. It's going to be right sides only and Sunoco race fuel. Lubricate the bumper. Beautiful.
they get Mike Wallace back out in the 14th position, the man who won here back in 2004 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. As we welcome you back to the Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Up front, Harvick and Sadler with Stewart, McMurray, and Logano and Edwards, your top 6. And Dave has caught up with a disappointed Clint Bowyer.
And we're just looking at the front 3 KHI cars there, and Clint knows he could have been there at the end. What happened out there?
Well, just, obviously just got turned around. But, hey, man, who's going for it? It's having so much fun out there. The Menard Chevrolet was good. I'm telling you, these guys have just had horrible luck. In practice, I wrecked one of their cars, and I just feel bad. That was a backup car. I just wanted to get to the end of the thing, but I'm telling you, that backup car had as good a shot as anybody did to win a race out there today. But, I don't know. We were together, and he'd been dipping out and, to get some air in his car because he was hot. And I felt him dip out, and it kind of got my car wiggly. And by the time we touched back, it just turned me into a wall. But, man, I'm telling you, so much fun being able to drive for KHI. These guys have done a great job bringing and preparing cars for this racetrack tonight. But hopefully one of them can win.
Clint, part of the great show tonight. Marty?
He had completed all but one lap in his 12 previous Daytona starts. And remember, he finished second by 7/1000th of a second. Here we go with, in the front row, Kevin Harvick, Elliott Sadler. Row number 2, McMurray and Stewart. Row number 3, Edwards and Logano. 4, Almirola and Kyle Busch. And in row 5, Danica Patrick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Pace car has turned off. Green flag in hand. It's waving. We're going racing one more time. Now with 16 to go. Tony Stewart is hooked up with Elliott Sadler. And you saw that Kevin Harvick has teamed up with the 1 of Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, it looked like something happened with Jamie. I don't know if it was planned for him to get back with Harvick, but he left Edwards.
And here's the switch. Danica Patrick is pushing Eric Almirola. This is the first time we've seen her pushing tonight. On board with Danica. Edwards dropped back to try and pick up the 1 of Jamie McMurray and has done so. And that leaves Kevin Harvick now looking for a dance partner.
Yeah, and I think he found it in Brad Keselowski. Brad's been looking for somebody pretty much most of the night. Now he's got Kevin Harvick, and that could be a pretty potent twosome right there.
Okay, it's Sadler and Stewart, Logano and Kyle Busch, Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne. That's your top 6. Mike Wallace is running in the 7th spot right now.
Yeah, he's hooked up with Justin Allgaier in that 31. They just got separated to get in the corner.
Here comes Danica Patrick pushing Eric Almirola, and they're going to slice through the middle.
Well, this is where we were really wondering how far Danica had come in this drafting type situation. We saw that she could handle it out front.
Oh, look out. They've got to check up. Everybody gathers it up, and now Danica looks like she may go back in front. Yes, Almirola is going to say, I think it's better for me to be back up.
Yeah, I think she got into the 18 a little bit there.
Keselowski had to check up as well with the 4 of Kevin Harvick. 3 wide through the corner. Look out on the high side. That's Sorensen trying to push Leffler, and there's traffic to the outside. The dash for cash right now, Elliott Sadler is the man up front. He could pick up the 100,000. Here we go again. Watch Keselowski down low with Harvick pushing. Let's go back and replay the moment where Danica had to check up. Almirola, she cannot see a thing.
Yeah, the 88
and he did.
Yeah.
Nice save by Kyle Busch. On board with Danica.
See, she can't hardly see a thing right here.
Keep pushing through the middle. We're going to keep going through the middle. Easy.
Man, Kyle Busch did a great job.
Clear low, Danica. Come back to him.
All right, let's go back and show you what has happened on the race lead. There you see Elliott Sadler in now 3rd position, as it is Stenhouse Jr. and Trevor Bayne moving up front. Remember, Roush Fenway Racing has never won a nationwide race here at Daytona, one of 3 tracks that they've never won at. And Stenhouse is going to lead this lap. If you're asking how many leaders we've had, total of 11 with 29 lead changes. The record is 35 set back in February.
Hey, there's another twosome in that group with Joe Nemechek and his team car with Kevin Conway driving. They've been up inside the top 15 most of the night, and see them right there once again. They're part of this mix to try to win this race.
Also, Mike Wallace and Justin Allgaier. That's a new tandem. It's working real well.
And as you mentioned, here he goes, trying to go underneath Sadler and the 9 of Tony Stewart. It looks like they're going to make it stick. And right behind them is Danica Patrick getting pushed by Almirola. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
And that 0-1 car, always one to watch here. He gets a challenge down on either side, but Mike Wallace is definitely going to try to stay in it. He has Allgaier as a partner. He loses him. Oh, this could be the disaster he wasn't looking for. He used Joey Logano as a partner earlier, but remember, he's won here both in trucks and nationwide if he could just keep the partner.
And you can see the gap from high above, and he is trying to reel back in to hook up with the 31 of Allgaier.
Yeah, they got split by Danica Patrick and Eric Almirola going to the inside there. Made it a 3-wide situation, or 6 cars, whatever it was. But they'll get hooked back up and going forward again.
Oh, the 87 has been turned, and he and the 97, Conway and Joe Nemechek brush the wall. Now they gather it back up, but the caution has been put out.
You see the hood flapping on that 87. Knock the hood pins out of it.
So we are now under our 6th caution of the night.
And we're getting down now to 10 laps to go and less. That's when it's going to get really, really hairy out there.
Well, to give you an idea, the final green flag stretch has been less than 10 laps in 18 of the last 23 races.
Conway just turns Joe, and he has no control of that thing.
Boy, a nice gather, though. He gets it back together, even though he did brush the wall.
That could have been a lot worse than the way it turned out.
45 degrees.
Good save by Stenhouse. Look at the 38 diving low.
Flying off of Kenny Wallace's car.
Wow.
That's the least amount of damage to all of those cars that could have happened right there.
Best scenario, best possible scenario this worked out.
You know, when you think about it,
huge wreck.
We have had about 2 or 3 opportunities like that where we could have had a multi-car mess, and some nice driving has kept it to a minimum. There you can see some of the damage still on the back end of the 97 of Joe Nemechek. And there's the front end of the 87. With 10 laps to go, does anybody come in for tires?
I don't see anybody at the front coming in, Marty. There could be some of the guys that are on the tail end of the lead lap coming in, but get down to it now. It's going to be less than 10. It's going to be 9 to go when they get back.
Well, the problem is we have 29 cars on the lead lap, too. So you got a lot of cars out there.
Yeah, and I think even back to 16th or something, you're still going to be going forward. You can make that time up because that's what you want to be doing here. I'm not sure that in the lead is going to be the best place to be as we get this restart.
I think it will be for the next caution that's coming out.
Yeah, don't forget the last 6 races here at Daytona in the Nationwide Series have ended with a green-white checker. Both of the Nemechek machines are heading for pit road, so there's 2 takers. Also, we can tell you the 62 of Annette, the 66 of Stephen Wallace have also come down. Jeremy Clements in the 51, and several other cars, including Derek Cope, who's the last car on the lead lap. Timmy George will get the free pass. He will get back on the lead lap. That'll get us 30.
As that intensity level comes up here at these last few laps, I just expect we're going to see more of this, pushing and shoving, and not so much intentional crashing, but it's just going to, there's just no control over these cars when you're pushing so hard.
And just something to think about as we saw Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick get hooked up. They're up there in 5th and 6th right now. Keselowski was in front, Kevin Harvick pushing him. He has to wonder how hard Harvick may push as they catch Harvick's 2 cars that are up front.
Yeah, he might just find himself all of a sudden without a partner.
Elliott Sadler looking for a $100,000 bonus if he can be the first of those 4 across the line. And normally we take you up to speed under green, but the action has been so fast and furious that let's do it now. And let's start off with the 9 car in second place of Tony Stewart. I'm sorry, let's start off with Elliott Sadler. How about it, Mike?
Well, Marty, I talked to his crew chief, Ernie Cope, earlier this weekend, and he kind of looked in his crystal ball and said, if I had my choice in the closing laps, I'd like Kevin Harvick as my drafting partner because he's our car owner. He sees the big picture. He knows that we're running for a championship. He'd push us to the finish. However, Harvick's car, as they assessed the situation a while back, felt like it didn't match up very well with the rear bumper of the 2 cars, so instead he fell back and picked up the 22 car. So I guess Sadler's just going to have to settle for having a 6-time Nationwide Series winner pushing him from behind. That, of course, being Tony Stewart, who just came over the radio and said, I'm sticking with you till the end. Dave?
Mike, Danica Patrick runs third. She's got her drafting partner, her teammate Almirola, right behind her. Tony Eury Jr., her crew chief, talked about changing his expectations. Last year, he said I'd have been happy with 25th and seat time, getting experience. This year, I think we're a top 15 car almost every weekend. This weekend, I think if we don't finish 6th or 8th, I'll be disappointed. Again, she's third right now, Doc.
And Dave, it took 71 laps for Joe Gibbs' teammates Kyle Busch and Joey Logano to finally get hooked up together. They are tandem 1-2. They've been drafted together for the last 11 laps, just trying to stay out of trouble and bide their time. Remember, this is a tandem that ran 1-2 at Talladega and hooked up in the final lap to pass 6 groups of cars. They will hook up nose to tail on the restart, and right now they will start 7th and 8th. Shannon.
Well, Doc, under that last wreck, the number 6 of Ricky Stenhouse says he does think he got a little bit of contact, but says it doesn't think it's anything major or anything to worry about moving forward. Now, remember, the 6 and the 16, Trevor Bayne, the Daytona 500 winner, they have been hooked up the entire race. This was their plan. And from what you heard on the radio, Trevor Bayne has been better from behind when he is pushing Ricky Stenhouse. But, of course, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of this race because, guys, Trevor Bayne looking for his first win this year in the Nationwide Series.
So there's our Nationwide insurance up to speed, albeit under caution right now, as it gets you updated with a number of the cars that are out there. We have a total of 30 cars on the lead lap as the pace car is getting ready to head towards pit road. Let's listen to the 7 and the 88 conversation before we go green.
Good job, buddy. Sorry about that. It's getting a little hectic out here.
Yeah, no worries. We had the middle lane open, and the 18 come down and try and block us there when we was going to the middle. We were going to go to the lead right there, and he tried to block me, and I had to check up, got to his left rear a little bit, got sideways. But thanks for checking up and giving me a break.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I'll roll out of the throttle, but, you know, of course, those things happen pretty damn fast.
And we're going to go back to green flag racing here with 7 laps remaining. Sadler up front. He's looking for Tony Stewart. He's got him. Danica Patrick's looking for the 88. Almirola's tucking under. On the high side, here comes Keselowski along with the 4, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, the 88 was
look out.
Just as you were saying, Andy.
A little bit of contact. Everybody gathers it back up, and we stay green. So the 22 is now pushed out into the front from assist from Kevin Harvick. Drops Sadler back to 3rd. And look at this mess a little bit further back. We're going to go 3 wide again.
All the cards on the table now with just a few laps to go.
That's Kyle Busch down low pushing Joey Logano as they are running in that 4th tandem group.
I'll tell you, Danica Patrick's got a strong race car. She's going to take this thing to the lead.
Yeah, she has the best shot at winning this race right now.
Another lead change, as you saw, Elliott Sadler with the help of Tony Stewart. On board with Danica, she's running 3rd. 31 lead changes, 4 away from the record with 5.5 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter, does she have the patience to hang there for a minute and let things kind of play out, because they really don't want to make this move right at this point in time.
They have opened up some ground on the pack behind them. Right now, it's those 4 cars, and you can see the gap.
And we're going to go by them.
5 to go, girl. 5 to go.
She's going to try the high side with Almirola.
Outside of them now. We're outside of them.
She's spotting for herself.
Well, she got those two separated. They're going to get a huge lead right here.
And they're going to get the push, and they're going to move into the lead. Now, listen to the crowd. Down the back straightaway.
More to go at the line. They're racing real hard.
There the push. Look at the gap. Next time by, 4 laps remaining, but here comes KHI. She's going to lead another lap. Lap number 13. Look at the fans.
Yeah, I'm not sure it wasn't a plan for Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart to drop back. I think they want to be coming forward here.
They're closing the gap. Here they come. Sadler takes him down low. Tony stays right on his bumper.
You got a little separation now with the 7 and 88.
Yeah, that could have been a little soon on Elliott's part, too. We'll have to see.
Now the question is, can they hold off the freight train that's coming on the high side? And the answer to that one will be no.
Yes, Mike Wallace and Justin Allgaier now hooked back up.
Now the 88 and 7 have gotten back together. This time by, we'll have 3 laps remaining. Sadler out in front. Remember, he's got a $100,000 bonus, not to mention the race win, if he can stay right there.
And probably the points lead to go on top of that.
Like Reed Sorensen got in the wall just a little bit.
Sorensen in that 32 on the high side. Down the back straightaway. Elliott Sadler. Here comes Danica Patrick and Eric Almirola. 72 races in the Nationwide Series. Since Sadler has won, he is the only one in the top 4 in the points that has not scored a win yet this year.
Got to do some serious blocking if he's going to win this race from Danica Patrick, though.
Now we've got 2 laps remaining. Here would be the point standings if it stays the same. Somehow I have a feeling it may not. Here comes Joey Logano with Kyle Busch down on the low side. Look out for lap traffic. They gave him just enough room.
You see Rusty Wallace's car is now just moving into the picture. They're making a move.
They get past Danica Patrick. They lost contact again, and they are getting passed by about 4 cars. Next time by, it'll be the white flag lap.
62 and 66 have a head of steam coming to the white flag here.
This could be the best finish RWI has had. Here comes the white flag.
They got to run. Yeah, they're going to separate those 2 right there.
1 lap to go. Down on the low side, it's Annette with Stephen Wallace pushing. Neither one of them has ever won a nationwide race. Look out, Danica brushes the wall. They gather it back up. Sadler in trouble now as they broke apart. He and the 9 of Tony Stewart.
Logano and Kyle Busch to the lead.
On the high side, and all of a sudden, the Annette combination breaks apart. Here comes Reed Sorensen, and he could win the $100,000 bonus in the Nationwide Dash for Cash. Coming out of turn number 4, it looks like Joey Logano, who's been so good at pushing, may end up winning. Oh, crash in the back. At the stripe, the win goes to Logano, and look at the carnage behind. We have got 1 car on fire. There's what's left of McMurray.
Yeah, that was a big, hard crash. See parts laying everywhere. Mike Wallace got the winning it down.
2 races in a row for him to get crashed on the very last lap.
Murray, same thing.
Almirola was the car that was on fire. He gets out okay. There's Stephen Wallace, and he looks to be okay. That's what's left of Tony Stewart's car and Danica Patrick's. For Elliott Sadler, the disappointment has got to be immense. He led the most laps, 31. Not only does he not win the race, he doesn't win the $100,000 bonus. It's going to go to Reed Sorensen, who finished in 3rd. Joey Logano. In these plate races lately, he has been the man who has pushed people to victory. He finally gets his first victory this year.
Hell yeah, Daytona. Yes. Good job, awesome job.
4th time this season that a driver has led only 1 lap in the race and won it. The other 3 by the Turner Motorsports Group.
It feels good to do that again. Woo!
That's Joey's father. high above the fray as he's got the headset on. There's Tom. There's a better look at him. What a wild finish to what has been an unbelievable race. 35 lead changes. We tied the record. Tony and Eric talking it over, trying to dissect what happened. Let's run through the finishing order again for you. It was Logano with Jason Leffler having his best run of the year. There's Jamie McMurray disappointed. Sorensen finishes third, wins the Dash for Cash. There's Elliott Sadler talking. Kyle Busch comes across in fourth. Allgaier in fifth. Annette sixth. Sadler seventh. Almirola eighth. Patrick ninth. And Stephen Wallace 10th. And here, let's see what happened on this last lap crash.
Well, that's just the last lap of a race. You can see Mike Wallace kind of got separated. He tried to block and pick up a little bit of air. He and Danica got together, and then that just created a big mess.
Hate seeing that many good race cars get torn up right at the finish. Heartbreaking.
And remember, for Joey Logano, as we take another look at it, he wins after starting at the rear of this field.
Yeah, and had to go back there again after having a spin on the backstretch and pitted too early. Had to go to the back of the pack then also.
There's another look at all the carnage, the flames on the 88. Let's go on board with Tony Stewart. Hold on.
Watch here now. Go outside here, outside.
I'm surprised the camera held on. Here's Danica's view. Those are the flames from Eric Almirola's car in front of her. Look at how it lit up the sky. One more view, and watch the 01.
Yeah, this is where Mike Wallace goes up. Danica gets a little bit, and actually the 88 gets back into the left rear of Danica and turns her down into the 01.
So let's check in on some of the guys that were involved in this. Stephen Wallace is with Mike Massaro.
Yeah, he was in the middle of it, Marty. His car, in fact, came to rest on pit road. A heavy lick. What happened?
It was just a tough day. You know, me and Michael had a really good shot to win that race, and water temperatures kept climbing. They got to 300, and I thought we had a shot to win that race, man. I just really wanted to win that thing for the Infinite Hero Foundation, all the Wounded Warriors and all that really bad, but we were close, and it's just the motor got hot and started blowing up going down the back stretch, and that's when me and Michael got disconnected, and then all hell broke loose going down the front stretch. It's just that style racing, but I want to thank 5 Hour Energy, Oakley, Infinite Hero, you know, all the Wounded Warriors, and we were close, man. It's just that motor got hot, and that was just, you know, the typical Daytona there at the end.
And you can hear the disappointment in Stephen's voice, Marty. Had a good run going.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, all of a sudden, they were in the mix. They hadn't been there all day, and then all of a sudden, there they were, as another tough end to the night for Stephen and Michael Annette. But a great end for the evening of Joey Logano. Let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Four times in the last 8 super speedway races, Joey Logano has been the driver that pushed the eventual winner to victory lane, and today it is his turn. Joey, we talked about you being the pusher, and today the pushee. Congratulations on a fabulous win here. Take us through now what happened on that final lap. You came down for the white flag running 6th.
Woo! Yeah, it was man, it just feels good to be on this side of it. You know, usually I've been second here the last few times, and man, it's Daytona. I'm pumped up right now. It's so cool. Got to thank Kyle, obviously, for pushing me. It's nice to be on the other side of the fence. You know, usually I'm the pusher and finish second every time. So to be on the other side here and get the win, man, this is great. Good job, Adam. Man, just got to thank Sport Clips. You know, GameStop's been on the car a lot this year. We want to give them a win too, but this is just cool. I'm totally pumped up. Coca-Cola, obviously, big Coke weekend for them. We want to do good for them too. So, man, I appreciate all the guys at the shop. It's a good race there at the end. I thank the fans. You know, coming down there at the end, they're I'm watching the mirror. I'm like, man, never been in this position before. Usually I'm the guy second. And, you know, I was watching Kyle in the mirror and saw him go high, had to block him high. I know he was really looking out for the other two-car group coming up behind us there. So, man, it just feels good here.
Were you able to see what happened behind you as you came down for the checkered flag? See what happened with Kyle and the guys back behind you when they all went sideways up in the wall?
Yeah, I mean, I saw parts of it. I know I saw Kyle go high, and I went to block high, and it caught me in the right rear, and we started catching it up towards the fence. But it was just enough to get by in the start-finish line there. And I don't know if Kyle even hit the wall there or not. I hope he didn't, you know. But if not, we had two good cars that aren't tore up, and you know, pretty pumped up.
All right, we'll show you the replay over here. If you take a look at here is the final lap you coming across here. You see you're trying to get by all this mess.
Oh, there's a big chunk behind us there. I didn't realize there's that much wreck there. But yeah, I caught the end of that replay there. But yeah, I mean, I was listening to Kyle's spotter, and I could hear him coming. You know, 6 back, 3 back, 2 back, and I'm like, "There's my man." There you go. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I can hear him coming, and you know, both the spotters did good. Mark Robertson and Eddie DeHaan did a great job working with us together, and it took us a while to find each other throughout the race. You know, we're both just on 2 different strategies, both trying to figure out some different things, and once we find each other, it's like this every time. And we've been up there to front with me and Kyle find each other, so hope we can do the same thing tomorrow.
Teammates again. It took them 71 laps to get together, Marty. And from 40th to 1st, Joey Logano's first win here at Daytona.
And this 9th of his career in the Nationwide Series. The last one to come from the back of the pack back last October. Brad Keselowski at Gateway. And another big day for Danica Patrick. She comes home in 9th place. Shannon, let's talk to her.
Yeah, and despite that finish, big smiles, high fives when you jumped out of the car. First of all, what happened on that last lap?
Well, you know, got disconnected with about a lap and a half to go there, and dropped back to get Eric, and started pushing, and it looked like Mike Wallace was just not in. It would look like he was struggling. He was kind of high, and then he started drifting low, and then all of a sudden he came up high in front of me, and there was just nowhere to go. And yeah, it just looks like a bit of a cluster. So kept it straight. Kind of kept my foot in it too. I know it's probably not the right thing to do when there's a crash, but you know, I was going for broke in the GoDaddy car. I thought, you know, there wasn't much room out there for open lanes on the top, but I was taking them.
You sounded like you were having so much fun out there at one point. You worked with Tony Stewart. You worked with Eric Almirola. How would you describe this day?
I learned a lot, that's for sure. You know, I was glad I pushed a little, because I was thinking, man, am I only good as a leader? But overall, it was a good day for the GoDaddy car. Guys did a good job on the stops, and had a hell of a lot of fun.
All right. Heck of a lot of fun for Danica Patrick here at Daytona. A top 10 finish, guys, and she led 13 laps.
And one other thing we're checking is Kenny Wallace. He actually crossed the finish line on the grass. We'll find out exactly where he came across the line to try and figure out where he ends up in the running order, as we see the donuts and the victory for the 20 of Joey Logano.
Subway Jalapeno 250 at Daytona is brought to you by Subway. Subway keeps Carl Edwards running all day. Subway, the official training restaurant of Carl Edwards. ChoiceHotels.com. It's your voice. It's your ChoiceHotels.com. Book today. And Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR.
Well, another exciting finish here at Daytona International Speedway. And Reed Sorensen is a big winner tonight, not only lengthening his points lead to 9, he finishes 3rd and picks up the $100,000 for winning the Dash for Cash. He's with Dave Burns.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Marty. Reed, your reaction to being $100,000 richer, at least some portion of that, and increasing your points lead.
Yeah, I was at the end. I tell you, I didn't know where we were going, but I trusted Jason, and man, I owe everything to him, because he came back and got me there. We were stuck by ourselves for 20, 30 laps, and he helped me. And that was the plan before the race. And there, the last lap, I knew we had a big run just off of our RPMs. I couldn't see where we were going, but I knew we had a big run. And, you know, I didn't even know to the finish if we won the Dash for Cash or where we finished or what was going on. So this is pretty awesome. First Dash for Cash I've ever won. And for everything that Nationwide Insurance does to put out this much money for us to go after on top of trying to win the race is really neat. And just want to thank Dollar General for everything they've done for us this year. Great Clips car helping us out tonight was awesome, and just good teamwork with me and Jason, and made it through the wreck and had a huge run at the end. And I don't know how close he was to winning, but it had to be pretty close.
Last week's winner, $100,000 this week. I don't wonder what he does for an encore, Marty.
Just smile and enjoy it. That's all. Let's take another look at the finish, because remember we talked about Kenny Wallace. We can tell you everybody involved in the crash has been treated, released from the Kinfield Care Center. And they're right about the 38 almost winning this race.
Yeah, he had a huge run, and Kyle Busch had to go to the outside to block them, and then Logano thought that he had to block the 18.
Boy, if that start-finish line's down just a little farther, Leffler wins it.
The margin was 4/100ths of a second. Now, notice on the infield, plowing through there like a tractor, that's the 09 of Kenny Wallace, and he has now been placed in the 7th position. So now that moves Sadler down to 8th, Almirola to 9th, and Danica Patrick to 10th. And there you see him there, the 09 streaking across the line ahead of Sadler. So a good run for Kenny, as that's his 2nd best finish of the year and his 6th top 10 of the year. Back here at Daytona International Speedway, we'll show you the ticket to the races. Here are the upcoming events on the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We'll be in Kentucky next weekend. Final thoughts, guys? Andy?
Well, I wasn't sure I liked this style of racing, but I changed my mind. I believe I like it a lot. I think this is great excitement, and you never know what's going to happen to the very, very end. So I've changed my mind. I think I like it a lot.
It was pretty incredible, and I thought we were seeing history. Man, I really thought Danica Patrick, after driving a fantastic race, was going to get the checkered flag first tonight, but it was a fantastic finish once again.
All right, let's send it down to Alan. Take us home, Mr. Bestwick.
Marty, thanks. We started the night with 4 Kevin Harvick Incorporated cars in the first 4 starting spots. We ended the night with
nothing.
All 4 of them wrecked.
All of Kevin's cars are destroyed. Even the backup car of Clint Boyer, that's 5 cars. They all had damage. I mean, Kevin's got to be not feeling too good right now.
And Joey Logano started last and led 1 lap, but he takes home the trophy as the winner of tonight's race.